My name is Totalbiscuit, and I suck at Starcraft 2. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit, and welcome to another edition of I Suck at Starcraft 2. Because I do. You must understand this. So this is a lengthier ISS2 than usual. This is a three-parter. It's 3 games against my new training partner, Absalom, who kindly offered to try and show me the ways of Bushido, and also Starcraft 2 while it was on. I'm not entirely sure that I'm all that good at Starcraft 2 yet, but I'm getting there with Bushido, so it's all good. Now, all of these games are on the Lost Temple. I'm playing Terran, and my opponent is playing Zerg, starting off here with your standard run-of-the-mill block. Now, the nice thing about Zerg is that you can scout 2 different areas at the same time. Admittedly, one is a little slower than the other, so he sent his Overlord over here to the closest as the crow flies destination, and his drone to another nearby emplacement, which is where I happen to be, so he was able to scout me a lot earlier than I was able to scout him. So, as opposed to doing what I should have done, which is simply switch to a barracks on that one right there and send that one to scout, I have not yet scouted his location. This is a little bit problematic, of course, because I don't really know what he's doing. And by the looks of it here, of course, he's going for an opening 14 pool with an early gas. Very early gas. Now, I should have scouted that, honestly, and I didn't. If I'd gone in and scouted the early gas, then I could have imagined a number of things. One of those is a quick tech up to lair. There's also the possibility of banelings or roaches. That would have at least given me some preparation, and I'm scouting now, but it's a little too late. Now, scouting on 13 supply is quite silly. Now, Absalom, as you can see, has managed to keep a drone in my base for quite some time, which has worked quite well for him, because he's been able to scout and keep an eye on exactly what I'm doing. Now, I did try and take his drone out with an SCV, but he's doing so much damage with that single drone, it's unbelievable. Now, I was able to scout this, and I scouted a spawning pool, plus an early gas. So, my assumption was, what exactly? Well, at the moment, I'm a little bit too distracted by that goddamn drone that's on 2 HP and steals a gas as well. Now, I must admit, when I opened up here, I didn't really have too much of a plan. I'm like, okay, I'm going to react to my opponent. So I'm going to build what I usually do, which is this 2 supply depot wall and a barracks. The thing is, the 2 supply depot wall is quite risky, and I should have realized that when I saw that early extractor, because that does open up the possibility of a so-called baneling bust. The baneling bust is not pleasant, and it is used against novice Terran players like myself to blast their way through the wall, as well as do heavy damage to the supply. Thankfully, I've been able to block off that drone right there, and I can gun it down a little bit. I don't even get a first blood there. That's really sad. Absalom manages to get the hell away from it. Now, I decided to go with a factory here. And my strategy was to go with the so-called 1-1-1 build, which is you build yourself a factory and you build yourself a starport. And what I do as well is I take very early gas once all of that's faded away so that I can do it without being spotted. Double gas early on, I really should have gone for something like, I should have, say, gone straight for Thors, or go very heavy into tanks or something like that, and I really don't. I could also have gone to the 1-1-1 through to Banshees, which, again, I don't really do. He's taken up to lair there a lot later, and he waits until after my SCV's been destroyed so that he can do that. Very smart. Now, the Baneling Nest, I did scout, as I recall, and we can check that. Yep, I was aware of the Baneling Nest. So what I decided to do is I decided to reinforce my wall. This is not the smartest way of doing it, honestly. If you don't think you're going to get hit very early on by Zerglings, it is wise to make your wall out of something a little bit more resistant than these things. Supply depots have 350 HP, factories have 1,250, and barracks have 1,000. Now, once I build something behind here, that's an effective wall, but if he baneling busts, as it turns out he does, he will take out 2 supply depots, which will cause me to be supply blocked. Now, he is well aware that it's totally safe for him to expand right now. He knows what I've got, which is not an awful lot, and he's also aware that I'm hanging back and waiting. In come the Zerglings right there, and I'm preparing for a baneling assault. Not able to really get in range there. He's hiding his all the way over there, and I would imagine that he's going to start transforming those to banelings quite soon. Now, this wall does need to be reinforced. It's still not entirely there, so we're going to dump another barracks there. This is the dumbest wall ever, I might add. It works, it stops the banelings, but I also lose 2 supply depots in the process. So, taking those 2 supply depots out with the banelings is worthwhile. In the meantime, what you'll also notice is my economy is terrible. Because I was so distracted early game, I forgot to saturate my mineral line. So let's have a look at the economy and look at the income. I only have, right there, 15 harvesters. That's disgracefully bad. I've got 3 on each of these. And as you will have noticed, I dumped units into this refinery. I did the thing you really shouldn't do, which is use the rally point right here to bind some building SCVs to that refinery. So I've got like 5 SCVs sitting on that refinery. It's dumb. Now here comes the baneling bust. And there goes my supply, which means I can't build anything. And that was totally worthwhile for him. Yeah, he invested some gas in it, but he's totally supply blocked me. And my income is garbage. I'm playing so badly here, it's not even funny. You can easily see there that he's well ahead, even with the use of a mule, which is pretty pathetic. Now, I decide at this point, I've got loads and loads of SB gas, so I'm going to go for Tank Lab on Starport, and I'm going to go Ravens. Now, I've used Raven Harass to reasonable effect in previous games. The problem is, as I discover later on, that he starts spreading out scouts all over the map, including these overlords. So I can't really sneak the Ravens in without a response. In the meantime, he also goes for an Overseer as well. And you'll also see, when he moves over with this, he's going to use an ability that I don't see all that often. He will also scout what I've got coming up, which doesn't really help me in any way, shape, or form, as you might imagine. Still, I'm so very, very behind in economy. It's so silly. I would like to explain it. It's one of those moments where you just have a brain-dead moment. I mean, I haven't been playing that much lately, but this is just novice stuff. It's so incredibly dumb. I've even got a mineral field right here that I'm not even using. Barely. So, we need to saturate that. Are there any... There's not even one of these mineral points that are actually saturated. And yeah, I've got all of these. Look at these. How many do I have here? I've got 3 just queued there for no apparent reason. It's totally unhelpful. They could be on the mineral line helping me out. And mineral starvation is what's really holding me back here. I go with a factory and a reactor to get some Hellions, since I was thinking, hey, maybe you'll go Zergling Baneling completely, so I can just use Hellions, maybe with the Blue Flame upgrade, in order to take those out quite effectively. It turns out that's not what he's doing. He's going Spire. Now, are my Ravens going to be able to do much against Mutalisks? What do you think? Yeah, all in all, this was a totally disastrous game, and it was a training game. He said, you know, just play, and we'll see how it goes, and then I'll watch the replay, I'll tell you what you did wrong, and we'll go and do another game. In comes the Overseer, and splat. Contaminate right there on the starport, and I can't finish off my Raven, which is rather annoying. Now, had I been able to finish off my Raven here, or at least had I had some AA to deal with his Overseer, as you can see, there's actually quite a straight run all the way over here. Ravens dropping turrets in the back of the mineral line would have been potentially devastating, and he does have 2 Spore Crawlers there, but still I get the Ravens all the way around the back, and that would be a non-issue. Spore Crawlers have quite a short range. There we go, 2 Ravens up. And I don't really have a lot of energy for them. I've got enough to build 1 auto turret on that one. And I used an auto turret earlier, that's the problem. I had to pop one to try and repulse that Overseer, which did nothing at all, and I shouldn't have done it. Now, over I go with this, and here's the problem. I actually get shy here. I go over with these Ravens. The Ravens are pricey, and you're well aware that Ravens are pricey. They're slow, and they can't really defend themselves very well. And I thought, right, well, he's just scouted me, not once, but twice. He's seen me coming. Surely he has a response. And as it turns out, he really doesn't. He's got 2 Spore Crawlers here, but it wouldn't be hard to just flank around the side and attack from the rear, drop some turrets in the back right here. I don't do that. I wimp out, and I go backwards, which at least I could have counter-attacked a little bit there, and I didn't. So dumb. And the funny thing is here, I think, hey, 1-base battlecruiser is a great idea. Let's do that. That's a dumb idea. Such a dumb idea. And he scouts it as well. Drops a little changeling there. I'm easily able to fry that, but he scouts Fusion Core, so I cancel Fusion Core simply because I don't want him countering those battlecruisers. Thinking, hey, let's not do that. So I think, well, what else can I do? Well, I'll take a switch over, and I'll think about something a little bit more useful. Let's get another starport. Let's try go Banshees. Now, one of the fatal mistakes I'm making here is that I'm getting too fixated on what I'm doing in my base. Thinking, hey, I'm going to send some Hellions in, do a little bit of harassment, see how that works out. And I don't scout. And I'm unaware of these Mutalisks. And my Hellions are going to start to get slammed into the ground by this Mutalisk. I actually get sandwiched between there. Baneling's coming in from the side right there. Don't get a detonation all that much, but I lose the rear guard. Able to do a little bit of damage, but it definitely wasn't worth the investment. Without a shadow of a doubt. And now I'm going to think, well, what exactly am I going to do against these Mutalisks? Well, I've got this bunker right here, so they can't approach from the front. But I'm going to need Marines out, and I'm going to need to use these Ravens, and I'm really going to have to deploy some Vikings. thing about Vikings is that they're nice when they're defending your base because they've got good range, but attacking against Mutalisks, they're not that great. They've got good range, but they're very slow, and honestly, if you want to take out Mutalisks, you want to be looking at the Thors, you want to be looking at massed stimmed Marines. And, of course, for defense, the Venerable Missile Turret will do the job. Now, I decide I'm going to switch over right here. Banshees are a dumb idea. Let's build a bunch of Vikings, try and get a little bit of air superiority, and then hopefully I can move in some Hellions and maybe some Marines to do some damage. Do you think that's going to work? No, of course not. He's got such an economic advantage at this point in time, as well as the size of his army. We'll have a look at it right here. I've got 4 Marines. I didn't build any more because I was mineral starved. Because I'm such a dumbass. I finally realized this and start saturating my mineral line, but it's so late. I'm at such a disadvantage already in terms of how much money I've got. At least my missile turret will be able to have a bit of a shot at that Overlord. No problems there. Can repulse that for the time being. But again, my Ravens are just sitting there doing nothing. They've almost got full energy. It would be great for support or for harassment. I mean, I could have dropped some turrets right here and eliminated the hatchery. I could have even snuck around, and the Mutalisks would have been a problem, though. It's a little too late to go in there. I need that air superiority. I'm thinking, let's get some Vikings out, and maybe that'll do the job. The problem is that he's got more mutas. He's got way more mutas. You can see he's got way more mutas, and he's got more on the way. He can just keep building them. He's already getting upgrades, ground, and his flyer attacks are being upgraded too. Zerg melee level 2 as well. Looking for yet more just Zergling assault right here on the bottom. I can't really repulse that all that well. I don't think he can get through this, honestly, but still. Eventually he's going to wear it down, and with Mutalisks he might be able to blow his way through there, because my anti-air defense is pretty weak around this area. Now, I do at least have a missile turret near the back of the mineral line, but it's just one, and really I should be having much more than that. Now, I finally decided to expand. I'd love to actually explain what I did here, but it's just... I was brain dead. I was panicking. It's like, I'm not doing anything sensible here at all. I sent my Vikings in to make sure I had a little bit of air cover. Managed to at least take out an Overlord. One of the few units I managed to kill this game. Now, one has to ask at this point, does he scout? Well, I've got yet more problems here, sending another Hellions to just get barbecued. Well, he doesn't see my expansion at this point, so I can deploy it. But it's not what I call safe. I can't respond with units from my base. I have to rely entirely on my air, and as it turns out, he's actually heading over there because he saw my Vikings and he wants to take them out. And what's going to happen? Well, my Vikings aren't going to be able to do a good enough job against that, are they? As it turns out, he splits it to 2, which is very nice for him, and he goes straight for my command center. Manages to take a Viking out. I send a Raven in to try and escort, use the little point defense drone to help out, but it's not going to do much good, is it? Let's see. Vikings, great range, lousy mobility. And when Mutalisks come in large numbers, which is what's really happening right now, you can't do much. He's also got an infestation pit coming up just for comedy value. Now, Zergling's coming in right here to deal with the command center. And as soon as I lift that off, he's going to send the Mutalisks in and annihilate me. He's got 60 Zerglings right now. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. That's so bad. So very, very bad. Yeah. Annihilation, what can I say? Very unpleasant. Now that command center's toast, then honestly, I am as well. And what is my response here? Build lots more Vikings. And it's just silly. I should be relying more on Thors or on mass Marines to deal with them. Yeah, I've got Vikings, cool, but with the amount of mutas he's got... I mean, hell, I just sent in 1 Viking right there. Where'd the rest of mine go? What's the point? I know he's in the mineral line. 1 turret's not going to be enough. A couple more would have done the job. GG at this point, honestly. And that was probably one of the most disastrous games I've ever played. I was freaking out. It's like, oh, this guy's really good. I want to try and do something good. And like, where am I? Where's my head at, man? Where is my head at? Disastrous. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the second game right now because it's really short. And then I'm going to do the third game in a separate video because it's a little bit lengthier. So, just to make sure I don't have some great stonking massive upload. Okay. Game 2 against Absalom, and he'd informed me of a bunch of things that I did wrong here. And I was thinking I'm going to try and get some improvement in, but as it turns out, that's not what happens. Because I make yet another fatal error. I forget to scout again! Get it in my bloody head, man! Come on! Wake up, you see how long this replay is. I think you know exactly what's going to happen here. Yes, that would be a 7 pool. Well, it's a 7 pull. For those of you who are new to Starcraft 2, this is a cheese tactic for the Zerg. You build a single drone. You then mine up 200 minerals, you build a spawning pool, and then you build 6 Zerglings. And what you hope to do is, this is the classic Zergling rush. This is the StarCraft 2 version. In StarCraft 1 and Brew Wars, I recall it was a 4 pull, and in this it is a 6 or 7 pull. 6 is a little riskier, 7 is the prevailing, yes, you do this kind of thing now. And there we go. Using one of his drones, of course, to build a spawning pool. He's going to pump out those Zerglings. He gets a pretty early scout on me, which is very helpful for him. Now, the question is, if I didn't fail horribly here, what would I have done? It's tricky, honestly, because you look at the timing right here. That spawning pool is on its way up. He knows where I am. Can I get a barracks up and another supply depot in time? Yes, if I wasn't mucking about. You see, he actually goes to distract me right here, and I am mucking about. I'm not really doing too well in terms of the economy right there. I start my barracks up, and his spawning pool is almost ready. Now, what you should do, in order to respond to this, the first thing you should do here, to stop a 7 pool with the Terran, is you take your SCV, and then you dump, just take that second SCV, dump down another supply depot. Done. Problem solved. Pump out a Marine or 2. Done. No problem. 6 Zerglings can't break that wall. But he deliberately distracts me and stops me from completing the wall, which is extremely good play by him. And I don't know how to deal with it. So much harassment. And because I'm mucking about, and I'm too busy fixated on his drone, oh look! Prancing little Zerglings across the field. So cute. So easy to stop this. I mean, look at that. That is excellent play. He blocks off my barracks. I can't build it in time. And oh, look, it's the 7 pool. I'm so very boned. GG. GG. Excellent play. To be honest, that not only is that good advice for how not to get 7 pools like an idiot as a Terran player, but it's great advice for how to 7 pool a crappy Terran player. Let's just rewind that. Watch what he does with his drone right here. So he's harassing. And I start off with the barracks. I'm going to accelerate this just a bit. Ring around the rosy as I'm scaring him off right there. I do it until I've got enough for a barracks, which is fine. No problem there. He still goes to the harassment. That slows my barracks down. I try to finish the barracks, and I've got enough for a supply depot here. What I should have done is start building a supply depot right then pulled another one off the mineral line. Doesn't happen. Try to go for the barracks. He blocks it. I'm sorry, I want to see that just one more time. Skip. There we go. I've got enough for the barracks right here. I'll pull one off the mineral line to build it. And what does he do? He sees what I'm doing. Block. Can't do it. Can't get the block up. And expert drone play. Amazing harassment. And I'm too slow to start building at that point. Because, hey, if I'd start building there just a couple of seconds earlier, I probably could have blunted that. Nice play nonetheless by Absalom. And I am boned. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit, and I will be back with another video very shortly to show a game where I do a little bit better against my training partner after he's given me some good advice. But I still suck at StarCraft 2. I'll see you next time.